So today we're going over our property declaration form. So I thought that Antoinette would be the right lady to basically clarify it for us. She is a partner at Botha Copo Attorneys, and we use them for many, many years. So I thought the lead conveyancer here would be the right lady to go over it with us.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Thank you for your trust in us and to deal with your transactions. And I hope the information I'm able to provide to your clients today will be of use.
No, absolutely. So basically your immovable condition report or your property declaration form, why is it important and is it law?
In terms of the new law that has come out, well, we wouldn't call it new any longer. It's been in effect from the 1st of February 2022. It came about in terms of the Property Practitioners Act. It has made it mandatory for all estate agents out there to ensure that their sellers have completed a property condition report, and the agents are then responsible to be able to try and give that report to their purchasers. What is of the utmost importance is that the purchaser has sight of it before the offer to purchase has been signed.
That's a tricky one, hey guys, because purchasers also feel that's like a nice insurance policy. And in the past, it has caused many issues in terms of our paperwork when maybe a seller's not as transparent as he should be.
Yes.
What sort of points are our tricky ones to look out for as a purchaser?
So the first points that I normally look at is looking at the structural, sound and integrity of the building. If it's a sectional title, making certain that the financials are in order. Looking if there's any damp. If a property has recently been painted, the question is why, or is it just a really good seller? There's various options that you need to actually be looking at as a potential buyer. The one thing, as you rightly mentioned out, is the buyers then tend to think of it as an insurance policy. Buyers must understand that this type of condition report is with regards to second-hand properties. So you're not going to be getting a brand new gem that has no wear and tear on it. There will be some things that will need to be maintained, certain items that are not in the best of conditions, but that comes part and parcel of buying a second-hand property.
Antoinette, another one that is another sort of clause in our offer to purchase, which refers to latent and patent defects. Would you like to explain to everybody what is the difference between the two?
All right. So patent and latent defects is something that's been in our law for, I almost want to say, centuries. So patent defects are something that a buyer should be able to regularly see, meaning that they don't need to go and call in an expert to come start digging up the ground, drilling holes into the foundation. As you're walking through the property, you should be able to see there's a crack in the wall, there's a bit of damp on the side, the paint is peeling, the cupboards are a little bit skew, there's mold inside the cupboards. Anything like that that is easy to be able to see. Latent defects are something that has been intentionally almost tried to be hidden, or something that not even the seller was aware of, but has existed on the property for decades. So that's something where an expert would need to come in and say, yes, this has been here. Would the seller have been aware of it, yes or no? And that's where experts will come in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So sellers obviously are given these reports to complete. A lot of them ask us to email them the reports. What are the common mistakes that they make when doing this disclosure form that we can kind of avoid in the future?
So what we've noticed is a trend. There's normally two types of sellers. You'll have the seller who believes that his property is always pristine and is in the best condition, and they'll disclose nothing. Everything is great. Then you'll get the seller that's oversharing. So they'll put down every single item that is wrong. A chipped tile, some grass that is not growing properly, the pool pump that now and then gets blocked because there's too many leaves. So you'll get the two different types of sellers. We actually prefer the sellers that overshare. It gives more disclosure towards the purchaser, gives them more transparency. They know what type of property that they're going to be buying. Sellers that don't want to disclose anything, those automatically raise a red flag for me.
So now we are at handover day. Everybody's happy. We're in our honeymoon phase. Keys are being exchanged, and the client is now waiting for their moving truck to arrive. Day 14 arrives, and we have Storm Kirsten on our doorstep, and the roof now has started to leak in several places. How does this now affect our purchaser and seller in terms of the report when nothing was disclosed? So everything was in good working order.
So our common law will come into play, as well as the declaration report. Both of those will come into play. So the purchaser is going to have to prove 4 distinct things. 1, that the seller was aware that the roof was not in a good condition and that he attempted to hide it. Secondly, that the seller deliberately tried to conceal it, meaning he tried to do a patch-up job, he had just repainted it. Thirdly, that there was a duty on the seller to disclose this to the purchaser. Not everything will be the duty of the seller to be able to disclose to the purchaser. And fourthly, that the intention was there on behalf of the seller to try and defraud the purchaser. So this is not as easy as it sounds. Everyone's like, oh, it's a checkbox, I can say this, this, and this. The best way, and what we've discovered, is the nosy neighbor. The nosy neighbor will be able to tell a purchaser anything and everything. They'll start telling you, yes, the roof people were here 3 months ago. There was a huge storm and the whole roof caved in. They'll be able to tell you that they're regularly having issues with regards to it. Or they're going to tell you, no, they've never seen anybody on that roof and everything was fine, but the storm was so severe that it now impacted upon the structure. And unfortunately, that is something that the purchaser will have to accept.
Wonderful. Just to cover also in terms of our paperwork or our contract, we also have a clause for a home inspection company. So that is something that a purchaser can elect to do, which is a very nice way of covering their bases to ensure that there is nothing untoward that maybe they've missed or that the seller hasn't disclosed. It does come at a premium, and I think maybe that's something I should cover in the future, is maybe having a meeting and having a chat with the home inspection company so we can cover those points that they kind of look out for. Would you advise a home inspection done on a property?
Every purchaser wants to know as much as possible about the property and the investments that they're going to be buying into. I would never say that I would say no to an expert going in. I would just ask that it be someone who's reputable. When the PPRA came out with the disclosure form, all of a sudden there were a lot of pop-up little companies, people claiming to be experts, and the next minute you get these voluminous reports coming through,
all about
it, declaring every scratch, paint, chip, you name it, in there. And purchasers were all of a sudden getting very worried, saying, oh no, but we're not buying up the correct property. This is now not for us. Whichever company it is must be aware it's a second-hand property, and they must look for something that is of danger to the purchaser, that will affect them financially in a large manner. General wear and tear, that should not be something that they should be looking at. Structure, wiring, plumbing, if there's any flooding, different types of land usage, if there's wires that are going to be running over, stuff like that. That is something that I'd want an expert to be able to give me a bit more advice upon. But general wear and tear, I would recommend that the purchaser be cautious with regards to that. Or they might be paying for a very expensive report that's of no value to them.
Okay, so really if there's like any red flags or standing out at the viewing and you want to proceed, but just to cover your bases, and that's something to look at.
And if your seller has said, that the lights sometimes flicker, that would be something that you would be cautious of. Or while you're looking through the property, you're trying a light switch and it's not working. Ask the questions. If the purchasers are there, ask them.
Antoinette, at times we sell properties that belong to a colleague that perhaps has not got an immovable condition report completed by a seller. What is the PPRA's stance on that if we do proceed with an offer to purchase and obviously is turned into a successful transaction? How does that sort of implicate a purchaser down the line?
So the implications would more or less fall both on the seller, purchaser, as well as the agent. So if a property condition report was not attached to the offer to purchase or not provided to the purchaser actually is sitting what we term in the pound seat, because any defects that come from that and the seller has not disclosed them in a special conditions clause or anywhere else, the seller can be held liable for those damages. It can also come back to the agent, as we understand the PPRA is putting this onus on an agent to ensure that there's a property condition report. And if the agent has not provided that, they, in terms of the PPRA, a regulatory body, can actually be held accountable and they can be fined.
Luckily, I always have one completed, hey guys?
Exactly.
Well, Antoinette, thank you. I think we've covered quite a lot, and I think from a realtor's point of view, I think it's a very welcomed addition to our paperwork. I feel that it makes a purchaser feel a lot more comfortable, as well as myself, because unfortunately in the past I've had to deal with many messy situations when sellers were not as honourable as they could have been or as transparent. So from my perspective, it's welcomed, and I think that it's been a wonderful addition, and I'm really appreciative of people like you that have taken the time to explain it to everybody. Thanks, guys.
Much.
Thanks, Antoinette.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and we hope that you found the information useful.
Thank you.